All right, today we're jumping into the quarterly report from one of the most interesting companies out there in biotech, Alnylam Pharmaceuticals. We're going to see what the numbers really tell us about what's going on. Let's get into it. So here's the headline, the big question right up front. In the third quarter of 2024, Alnylam lost over $100 million. Fast forward just 1 year, and they've booked a profit of $250 million. I mean, how on earth does a turnaround that massive happen so quickly? That's the puzzle we're going to solve today, using their own official numbers. Okay, first, a real quick bit on the science, because it's pretty cool. Alnylam is a leader in something called RNA. Now, think of it like this. Your body has instructions, right? And sometimes those instructions tell it to make a harmful protein that causes a disease. Well, Alnylam's drugs are like a search and silence command. They find that specific instruction and just turn it off. They silence it, so the harmful protein never even gets made. It's a total game changer in medicine. So how do we figure out the answer to that huge money question? We look at the company's official report card, what they have to file with regulators, the Form 10Q. This is where they have to lay it all out, the good, the bad, you name it. And trust me, Alnylam's latest report tells one heck of a story. So, to untangle this whole thing, where do you start? You follow the money. Let's look at the revenue side of the equation first, because that's where you'll find the clues to this massive profit swing. And whoa, the numbers really pop off the page. Just look at this jump. Total revenue went from about $500 million last year to over $1.25 billion this year. That is a staggering 149% increase. So the real question is, where did that extra $750 million suddenly come from? And here's the thing, it wasn't just one thing. The report makes it super clear their revenue engine is firing on two big cylinders. First, they're selling a whole lot more of their own drugs. And second, they're cashing in on some really smart, really profitable partnerships. Let's start with their own sales. Check this out. This is their star drug, AMVUTTRA. In just this quarter, sales rocketed from $259 million to $685 million. A huge reason for that? A 214% explosion in the US market after it got approved for a new use. This one drug is clearly the main engine powering their growth right now. And this is the other half of the story. Alnylam got a massive, one-time check for $300 million from their partner, the pharma giant Roche. Why? Because a drug they're developing together for high blood pressure hit a huge milestone. You see, getting into phase 3 is a really big deal. It's the last, most expensive step before a drug can be approved. So for Roche to pay up, it shows huge confidence and, well, it's a giant infusion of cash. Of course, you know the saying, you gotta spend money to make money. And that is especially true in biotech. Growth like this doesn't come cheap. So now let's flip the coin and look at the other side of the ledger. Where's all the money going? The 10Q breaks it down pretty clearly for us. You can see the two biggest buckets of spending are research and development, that's R&D, at almost $360 million, and then selling general and admin, or SG&A, at $322 million. So R&D is basically the cost of inventing future drugs, and SG&A is the cost of running the business and selling the ones they already have. And get this, that R&D spending is up 32% from last year, and the report tells us exactly why. A huge piece of that spending is going into those super expensive late-stage trials for drugs like, you guessed it, zilebesiran, the very same drug that triggered that $300 million payment from Roche. You see the cycle? You have to pour money into research to get the breakthroughs that bring in the big revenue. Which naturally brings us to the future. All this money coming in, all this spending going out, it's all fueling what might be one of the most ambitious product pipelines in the entire industry. Just take a second and look at this. This is the company's future, laid out right in their report. Every single one of these lines is a potential new medicine they're working on. You can see they're going after huge diseases like Alzheimer's and hypertension, plus a ton of rare genetic conditions. With over 20 programs cooking, this isn't about just one or two hits. They're trying to build a powerhouse company that lasts. And they actually have a name for this grand plan. The report calls it their Alnylam P5x25 strategy. The goal is pretty straightforward. Use that incredible pipeline and their sales success to become a top-tier, financially independent biotech company by the end of 2025. It's a really bold vision.
But hey, no 10Q is just the highlights. You have to read the risk factors section. It's required reading, honestly, because it's where the company has to tell you all the things that could go wrong. And in biotech, the risks are always there, and they're always big.
This slide really captures the whole balancing act, doesn't it? On one side, you have this massive opportunity, a deep pipeline, incredible growth, a clear strategy. But the report is also very upfront about the other side. The huge R&D costs, the tough competition, and the constant legal and regulatory headaches are all very real threats. And we're not just talking about what-ifs. The report discloses a very specific, very real risk. Just last month, the company got a subpoena from the U.S. Attorney's Office. It's about how they reported prices for their drugs to government programs. Now, they say they plan to cooperate fully, but it just goes to show you the kind of intense regulatory world they live in. The report also gives you a map of the competitive battlefield. Their drug, OXLMO, is now facing a new rival. Their blockbuster ATTR drugs are going up against a different kind of technology from a competitor called Ionis. And even their core RNAi science has other companies trying to do the same thing. They are definitely not alone in this space. So, we end up right back where we started, but now we have the full picture. The story of Alnylam's third quarter is it's a story of incredible success, driven by amazing science and smart deals. But it's also a story of really high stakes, massive costs, and serious risks. So the question this report leaves us with is this: can they keep this engine roaring long enough to turn today's boom into a lasting biotech giant? Well, the next report card is only a few months away.